Welcome to the Expert in You podcast, the show for professional entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants who are ready to elevate their business, expand their influence, and boost their bank accounts. Join us as we dive deep with industry-leading experts who share their top strategies, invaluable insights, practical tips, and personal experiences to help you achieve extraordinary growth and success. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, stay ahead of the curve, or find that competitive edge, this podcast is your ultimate resource for unlocking your full potential. So tune in, get inspired, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the expert in you. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Carden, and wow, do I have a special guest today. I have Eder Holguin with me, and Eder, welcome to my show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, everyone, you are going to be absolutely blown away with Eder's accomplishments, what he has been able to do and what he's doing now. And not only that, his story is absolutely incredible. And you will be so inspired, so motivated, and you will know that anything is possible for you in 2025 as we are starting out a brand new year. I love a brand new year, don't you?
Yeah, it's always a great place to reset and kind of renew your expectations for an upcoming year. It's always a great time for new beginnings.
I agree. I think there's something just really so exciting about a new year. It is like looking at the new possibilities. And also, I think every new year brings something different to the table with whether it's what's going on in the economy or elections or whatever. And I think that that has an impact on what goes on. And so I think that can actually add to the excitement of it.
Yep, agree.
Well, you have done some amazing things. So, Eder, why don't you tell everyone what you do now and who you work with, and then we will get into some of your backstory and your accomplishments. And I can't wait for people to hear that.
Sure. So my expertise is in digital marketing. Right now, I work with public traded companies and issuers that are going public, whether it's through an IPO, through reverse merger. The challenge for a lot of these public traded companies is a lot of them have great stories, but they don't understand digital marketing. Digital marketing is complicated. There's so many channels, there's so many tools to be able to reach potential investors and tell their story. So I work with them on finding the right audiences. Who are the people that will be interested in their stock that can be potential investors? B, on simplifying the story. A lot of them get caught up on what they do, whether it's AI or is a biotech company that specializing on building some new technology, and they make it incredibly complicated. So we simplify the story. We make it a value proposition that an investor can look at it and say, oh, I get it. This is what you do. This is what you bring to the table. And then C, we manage the process of that potential investor journey, from seeing an ad to coming into a landing page to reading about the company, requesting additional information, and then a nurturing process that hopefully will take that person with the decision of buying the stock and becoming a shareholder in the company. So that's what I do right now. We work with those public traded companies and we manage a lot of this entire process from beginning to end.
And how long have you been doing this particular thing in your business?
So I've been in digital for 24 years, and I have a huge background in digital marketing that includes anything from crypto to e-commerce. On the particular investor relations field, I've been doing it for the past 3.5 years.
Okay, awesome. So you have a great backstory that brought you to this place. And as you said, 20 something years you've been in the digital marketing space. But tell us a little bit. You can hear his accent, first of all. So tell everyone where you're actually from, and then give us a little bit of that story and how you came to America and what happened.
Yeah, so I was born in Colombia. I was born in Medellin, Colombia. I lived in Medellin during the cartel days, during the Pablo Escobar days. I lived homeless from the ages of 13 to 17, and I came to America through Mexico. Obviously, I'm a US citizen today, but I was not at the time. Came here, started doing a lot of what the immigrants do, cleaning hotels, working
Mhm.
in supermarkets. I moved into sales, which had been my background. This is how I managed to survive in Colombia during my teenage years. I was selling products door to door, sold all kinds of things from cosmetics to insurance. So, leveraging that expertise on sales, I started selling advertising, print media first. I went through an amazing training program from a company that paid for my education to be in advertising. And I was selling print media advertising. And then when I saw the internet for the first time, I'm like, this is it. This is what I want to do for a living.
It
So
was a game changer, wasn't it?
absolutely. I knew that was the future. So I
Hmm.
joined startup, started doing sales. That company was acquired by Equifax. And then I ended up managing the digital portion of Equifax marketing services, selling data. And that prompted me to launch my first startup. So I have done 3 startups so far. And again, I've been doing this for 25 years now, almost. And I wrote a book, which is a best-selling book that tells the story of me from living in the streets of Medellin, Colombia, to coming to the United States and becoming an entrepreneur in the digital space. The book is called Dreaming of Hope Street, and it has sold close to 1 million copies now.
Isn't that amazing? A million copies. It's funny, Eder, I just did a video the other day around how the average book makes ten to $15,000, and here you've sold a million copies. So I think that's phenomenal. Congratulations
Thank you.
on your success. I love, first of all, your story, but you didn't just start up 3 businesses. Let's talk about the success of those businesses,
Sure.
because this is just phenomenal.
Yeah, so the first company was a company that did sweepstakes syndication. That business got acquired by Equifax. Through the acquisition, I ended up moving into a VP role at Equifax and learning a lot about data.
Hmm.
On the data process, a lot of my clients were in the market research business. And with a partner of mine, we started a company doing panel development, which is basically a fancy word for growing email databases for market research. And we grew the business organically. No investors, just the 3 of us. It was 3 of us doing this. And we sold the company to Zeta Global. Zeta is now a unicorn that's worth close to $7 billion. I
Hmm.
am still a shareholder and advisor at Zeta, but that was a big acquisition for us. And then the second company was a content syndication platform that provided content ideas and syndication for digital publishers, which was acquired by a group of investors. And then the last company, through a merger, went public, which was a company that did audience development. We developed custom audiences for advertisers. So yeah, it's been quite a journey for sure.
I'll bet. Does your story blow people away when they hear it? And just all the acquisitions. So when you start a company, or when you build a company, and even the one that you're doing now, is your mindset always that it would be acquired or that you would sell it? I would love to know your thoughts behind the things that you've accomplished.
No, honestly, no. I think the first company that we built, we saw a potential, we saw the opportunity.
Hmm.
We weren't even thinking about selling. We got an offer through somebody that came through us in a business broker that said they were interested on the tech that we were building. And we saw the opportunity of saying, hey, this is an interesting growth potential through an acquisition into something much larger. And I had been on a couple of these different companies that were acquired one way or another, whether I was a founder, co-founder, or just an employee. And I think a lot of it happens organically when you're doing something that you see the potential and you see an opportunity. There's obviously always a potential for an acquisition. Companies are always looking for someone doing something that is complementary to the business model. And in the space that I'm today, when I work with public traded companies, this happens a lot. Public traded companies have the ability to do acquisitions because a lot of the stock and the financing opportunities for public traded companies allows them to grow their business through acquisitions by looking at potential either technologies that are great for them or bringing entrepreneurs into their team through an acquisition.
Hmm. Amazing. So What is it you actually do with them now? So I know you do, you leverage the power of a digital audience. You help them really build up that digital audience for publicly traded companies. But let's dive a little bit deeper into that. And what are really the steps or the things that you actually take people through? You mentioned their message, getting clear on that, getting clear on their story. I know that what you do goes even deeper than that. So would you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it has to do with presenting an opportunity. Retail investment since COVID has grown dramatically. I mean, it has
Mm-hmm.
exploded. And there's all these communities. Everybody have seen the story. There was even a movie about this with GameStop and how a lot of these retail traders actually ended up competing with hedge funds. And you know the story, how it happened through Reddit. It blew up. It became a huge thing. A lot of people got involved in it. And I think COVID allowed for this shift of retail investors. A lot of the newer publicly traded companies don't have huge institutional investors because the stock is too new. They don't have enough shares available. They don't have enough funding. So I think they rely on the potential of retail traders.
Mm-hmm.
To do that, you have to reach these retail traders, and you have to find a way to reach them where they are. So I think what I do is part of it is understanding where these retail investors are and how to reach them. And that's through paid media. That's looking at potential placements where people are doing research for new companies, when they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for trading opportunities, when they're looking for new investment opportunities. So building the story, building these audiences and reaching these investors kind of creates the initial step of that journey of building awareness for the company, having someone who never heard about companies that I work with to say, hey, this is an interesting opportunity. They're doing something amazing. The company, seems very real. They have a great story. I'm interested. I want to put some of my money and become an investor.
Fantastic. So do you do all of the digital work for them then as far as building out the funnels and the websites or whatever all the pieces are that they need? Is that what your company does?
Yeah, so we start from the beginning. We
Mm-hmm.
we have an initial call with the CEO and the management team. We help them craft a story. We looked at their
Mm-hmm.
investor deck, investor materials, and kind of built all these tools. We build a custom landing page, which is what we use for the investor awareness campaigns. And then
Mm-hmm.
we set up everything that landing page needs: a call to action, a simple story, interesting highlights about the business. Then we proceed to start buying traffic and going through all the top investment websites and all the financial websites and buying traffic and testing what works.
Mm-hmm.
People coming to the landing page, are they reading the entire landing page? How long they spend there? The call to action is typically just give us an email address and we provide you with either a research report or
Mm-hmm.
an investor deck so they can continue their due diligence in the company. And once we have that email address, that gets put into a drip marketing campaign,
Right.
which includes press releases, news about the company, interviews from the CEO, all kinds of materials to continue to enrich that potential relationship with investor. So we do everything from beginning to end.
And how big of a team do you have that helps you with all of this?
So it's not a big team right now. We're about
Mhm.
12 people. We have media buyers. We have someone who runs the design team. That's all the landing pages. Obviously, we have people in sales. So we're about 12 people right now.
Are most of the people that you have, Eder, are they contract employees? Are they actual employees of the company? How do you sort of structure the infrastructure of your business?
So most of them are employees. There's a
Mm-hmm.
couple of independent contractors on the design services. Some of the writers that work with the companies
Mm-hmm.
work as independent contractors. They do all the content and all the writing for the landing pages and for potential, content that we use for the drip marketing campaigns as well.
Out of all the businesses that you have started and built and grown and sold, what's been your favorite?
I think the first business that we built has always a special place in my heart. It
Mm-hmm.
was such an interesting thing. I think the internet has completely been transformed over the past 24 years. So that was kind of the beginning of a lot of the new excitement of all the new things. At the time, people were building e-commerce businesses to sell, I don't know, dog food, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was buying dog food in 1999, and these businesses were ahead of their time. So building something practical that we knew was solving a specific problem was a very interesting thing at the time.
How long did it take you to really get that business off the ground and get it successful? I think so often entrepreneurs get into business and they just think it's going to be instant success, instant money, making millions right out of the gate. And you and I have both built a lot of businesses, so we know that's not the case. I'm curious how long it took you.
So it was three of us. As I mentioned, no investment. We didn't take a
Mm-hmm.
paycheck for almost 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And
Actually,
basically,
that's pretty good, really.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we didn't make any money for the first 6 months. I think
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around 8 months or 9 months, we started paying ourselves back with the profits of the company, very small, tiny salaries, and just kind of putting money into the business to grow it. And it grew organically over the next 3 years. We
Mm-hmm.
were featured on the Inc. 500 as one of the fastest private companies, fastest growing companies in the US at the time.
That's so impressive. I mean, the Inc. 500, a lot of people are super proud of the Inc. 5000. So the fact that you were 500 is amazing. Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement. Out of all the things that you kind of had to really kind of reinvent yourself and coming from being homeless and coming to a new country, and you said you didn't speak any English at the time, if I remember right.
Yeah.
How did you overcome those challenges? What was the mindset that you had that really propelled you forward? Because it's so impressive. And I see people that are in this country, that live in this country, that don't accomplish the things that you've been able to.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with this idea that I had. My whole concept in life is about possibilities. I do believe anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And I
Mm-hmm.
always, everything emanates from that belief. I believe that if you put your effort and you try it and you work at it, eventually you'll become successful at the things that you want. And to me, as someone who grew up poor and grew up homeless, a lot of it initially was about material possessions. I bought my house and I bought motorcycles, and cars, and material things, and that was kind of the whole thing in my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of proved that, hey, I arrived, I've done amazing things.
Right.
But
Right.
it has changed over the years. In my 30s, it was more about bigger things than just material possessions. And then in my 40s, it was more about giving back and
Mm.
and doing something for others and helping other people, giving of my time, my expertise, and giving back. So it has migrated and changed dramatically over the years.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that too. You evolve as a human being as you're building this and having this success. And you can only have so many toys. I mean, I guess you could have as many as you want, but ultimately those things are not as fulfilling as what you're describing. And also you have a family, and so your your priorities shift in going from yourself to, okay, now I want to make sure that my family's taken care of. I want to make sure that there's a future, and also learning how to reinvest money. That's such an important piece too. I feel like a lot of times as people are making a lot of money, they're not thinking about the reinvestment and the multiplying their money so that they can make a bigger impact and give back in a bigger way. How did you learn those things, or did you just kind of pick that up along the way?
Yeah, I think part of it just learning through doing, right? As you
Hmm.
do when you work with companies and you kind of see what they do, you learn from their mistakes, but you also learn from their successes. And I think that becomes part of it.
Yeah.
Understanding that process of doing different things and knowing that it's not just, hey, how much time do I have during the day to allocate to a certain task? But can I do other things that, like you mentioned, it's an investment on other opportunities, like my book, promoting my book.
Hmm.
I'm working right now with Netflix on a project to make this into a film.
It's
Um,
amazing. Yes, that's so
that
exciting.
that seems like an overwhelming process as well, like a separate business.
Hmm.
But I know it's going to be a huge return on everything, my story, my brand, my business, and all the things that I do.
So, how long do you see yourself doing this company, this business?
So obviously there is a plan in place.
Hmm.
And I don't know, at some point, I think I'll probably just go and buy land and ride horses and motorcycles and go fishing, and then just become a passive investor in life.
Hmm.
But I don't think that's anytime soon.
You still love what you do, it sounds
Yes,
like. And
absolutely. Yes.
yeah, how important is passion, do you think, when you're trying to make those millions of dollars and you're trying to really have that amazing success? How important is passion for that?
It's incredibly important. You have to love what you do because you're going to
Mhm.
have hard times. You're
Yeah.
going to have declines in the economy. 2008, 9, 10
I remember.
were difficult years. And if you don't have the passion to
Hmm.
persevere through those difficult times, then it's easy to give up. It's easy to call it quits. And
Yeah.
it's not just about money, because if it's about money, then you're going to give up when things are rough financially.
Hmm.
So the motivation has to be beyond that. And people who believe in a mission that they're doing something bigger than just
Hmm.
financially are the ones
Right.
that succeed eventually, because it's a much larger vision than just making money.
Exactly. Do you think, though, a lot of it is a personal challenge? I know for me, there were a lot of personal challenges in growing my business and being successful. Even like the money was important, and of course you're in business, right? So you can't take that out of the equation. But do you feel like there is, I don't know, just a different drive in challenges that you face that kind of push you through, and challenges or goals that you want to achieve just because you want to know that you can? Have
Yeah.
you experienced that? I know I have.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid who lived homeless, and I was a very shy kid. I was very afraid of speaking in public. I was very afraid of having conversations with strangers.
And look
Once,
at you now on this podcast.
once I found myself in the
Yeah.
streets, a 13-year-old kid in Colombia that doesn't have a driver's license, doesn't have any skills, the only job you're gonna get is selling products door to door. And
Hmm.
that forced me to start knocking on doors, having conversations with strangers. And then my job here, I speak in different, conferences and different events, and
Hmm.
you have to become something more than you were to achieve the things that you want. And someone said, I can't remember who said this, but someone said, make the goal to become a millionaire, not for the money, but for the person that you have to become to do that. And I
That was actually Jim Rohn, and it's one of my favorite quotes. Yes, I love it. So true, but it's so true. It is who you become along the way, and it's not about the money. What have been, if you could think of two or three maybe challenges or lessons that were maybe hard lessons, that you learned along the way? Share. I would love for you to share those if you can. And none of this was scripted, by the way, everyone. So I'm asking him these things just off the cuff. But are there a couple of things that stick out in your mind?
Yeah, rejection is one, right? There's rejection in business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be in sales, you're going to be in business, you're going to be an author, there's a lot of rejection involved. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that has been the theme of my life. Getting rejected because people didn't believe in the idea of the book. I pitched this book to so many publishers. I got rejected so many times.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do so many things in business and got rejected because I didn't have the traditional background. I didn't graduate from Harvard. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the right credentials, whatever it was. And I think rejection is just part of business, and you have to learn how to deal with it. And how do you go from rejection to rejection without losing your enthusiasm and doing the things that you want to do? It's a great, important lesson. I think that's one of the big ones. I have worked
Oh,
with people
good.
who are very afraid of rejection, and they say no, they give up quickly, and that just doesn't
Mhm.
work in business.
I would just want to add something to that. When you're a kid, I don't think you're as fearful of rejection as when you are an adult. Do you agree with that?
I think there's a level of ignorance that you don't know what you don't
That's
know.
probably a great way to say it.
And
We
I
don't
think
know what we don't know, right?
as you become older and more knowledgeable, you look back and you said, I probably could have failed at my first business dramatically, but I
Hmm.
didn't know enough to know that I could potentially fail. So I did it without
Yeah.
knowing. And I think
Yes.
in a lot of cases, knowing too much, it turns out to be a negative thing.
Right.
I think there's beauty on ignorance when it comes to entrepreneurship.
That's a great way to say it. So, what would be another big challenge that you had to overcome, or something that was really significant in helping propel you into success?
Under one of the things that I see, and I work with a lot of CEOs, I work with CEOs and startups as well as on the big public traded companies. And I think a lot of people think they have all the answers. And
Mm,
that's a big challenge. As an
hmm.
entrepreneur, you have to be humble enough to know
Mm,
that what you know and what you don't know. And the
right.
really good entrepreneurs surround themselves with people who are really smart and know more than them.
Yeah.
But it's a big thing for a lot of founders. They feel like they have to have all the answers. They know everything.
Hmm.
And it's
There's a level of ego.
yeah, it's
Yes.
an ego trip that is
Mhm.
really counterproductive on the long run.
So true.
It's okay to admit when you don't know something, and it's okay to be humble and say, hey, I have someone in my team who's much better at doing this. And by the
Right.
same token, I think kind of equal to that is improving those things that you know you're not very good at. I'm very good at
Hmm.
starting things. I'm very bad at all the minor little details. So when
Hmm.
I had a partner in my business, I always had the partner who did the little spreadsheets and the numbers and the little things. And I was out there opening doors and selling because I'm
Hmm.
not very good at those things. So finding that complementary aspect on your business is very important.
What recommendations I see? Really, let's face it, marketing and sales is the thing that holds most people back for to really have great success, especially entrepreneurs. What would you say to an entrepreneur or someone who is going after it in business, but they're not reaching their full potential because they're not marketing, they're not selling the way they need to. They get stuck in the stuff. They're not out there going after it.
Yeah, I think the easy thing to do, and again, it's probably not easy, is to make a list, your connections on LinkedIn, people you know in real life, and then just pick up the phone and call every single person and say, hey, no outcome out of this. I'm not expecting to do sales. I just want to call people, tell them about what I'm doing. Just
Hmm.
because that takes the pressure of closing a sale. But if you tell enough people about what you're doing, and you spread the word, you're going to find people that are either in need of
Yeah.
your product or service, or
Hmm.
find something complementary or know someone who actually needs your product. And I think that would be my suggestion. Just start with your contact list and just make phone calls and talk to people about it without
Hmm.
any expectations.
Yeah, just be excited. That's such a great strategy too. And I have used that with my clients. Go and talk to people, tell them what you're doing and see what they think about it. Just ask their thoughts, get some feedback and kind of do your market research. And through that, a lot of times they'll end up with a waiting list before they even are ready to launch their
Yeah.
business. So it is a great way. It's also a great way to break down those walls and get you into action, really. So, what haven't we shared that you would like to share? What do you think is ahead in 2025? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And what do you think is going to change?
So I think the two main things that you see happening this year, AI is one.
Mm-hmm.
So incorporating AI into your business, whether it's for
Yes.
customer service, whether it's to improve the way that you build ads,
Mm-hmm.
to run your social media, to increase awareness, AI is a very important component, and you have to start thinking about how to incorporate that. And then the second thing that will be very prevalent this year is crypto. And again, there's ways of implementing this, whether you're accepting payments via crypto, whether there is a solution in your business that can address some of the problems with crypto. Those are two main things that we're going to see a lot moving forward.
How can someone get started in crypto, or where would you suggest if people are still a little bit fearful of it? And obviously I think it was last year, we had all that in the news. And so I think people are very gun shy about crypto.
Yeah.
What would be your recommendations there?
Well, start by learning, start by reading, following potential currencies that you like. I think this new administration in the US is very crypto heavy, and I
Mhm.
think they're going to be incredibly helpful for the market. But crypto reminds me of the 1990s. I'm dating myself here. E-commerce in the late 90s. Everybody was excited about e-commerce. They didn't really know quite yet all the applications and how it was going to pan out, but here we
Mhm.
are. And I think crypto is the same. I think adoption rate is going to continue to increase. I think if you learn and educate yourself about the applications of crypto, I think they can be very beneficial. It is a very solid technology, and I think is the future. It just
Mhm.
needs to cross that adoption path that e-commerce took years also to get here. So I think we'll get
Right.
there eventually.
Right. But except that one of the things you're saying, I mean, now is really the time when anytime you can get in on the ground floor of something. But I think most people don't have the patience for that. They wait until it's already a thing. And then, yeah, and then that's not necessarily the best time to get in, just like with the stock market, right?
Yep.
Um, but okay, those are some great takeaways. Anything else you would like to add to just give people some takeaways before we wrap it up? This has been phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I think my only other takeaway has to do with building your community. I think everything surrounds your community, the people you surround yourself with, your group of friends. Communities are important for everything, for hobbies, for
Mhm.
business, for authors, for whatever it is. So I think just, work on building your community and your tribe. That's a very important thing.
And what is your favorite place to be on social media or online? Where can people find you? Or what's you mentioned LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Is
Yeah.
that where mostly where people can connect with you and reach you?
So I think my website, ederholguin.com,
We'll put
once
that in
you
the show
go there.
notes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think there's links to my books. All my social
Okay.
media accounts are there. You can contact me through the website directly. I think that's the best place to learn about me and get in touch.
Perfect. And what can people get from your book? I know it's your story. Are there also other things that they will be able to take away to use in their business, or is it mostly inspiration, motivation, your story?
Yeah, I think part of the whole idea of writing the book was to inspire people and provide hope.
Mhm.
The bottom line of the book is no matter how bad your beginnings are or how bad your life is, there is always hope for tomorrow. And that's the main thing. Hope is the main component of the entire story of the book.
I love it. You have shared such great wisdom. It has been such a pleasure and such an honor to have you on the show. And I want to thank you so much for being so open and honest about everything and just giving some great takeaways for everyone. And you're really such an inspiration. I couldn't wait to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun, and I hope everybody likes some of the things that I share.
How could they not? How could they not? So, all right, everyone. I know you will get such inspiration from this. Make sure you share the show and obviously make sure you subscribe to the show. We're trying to get this into the top 1% of podcasts. So, and share it with other people. Sharing is caring. And we would just love to have you connect with Eder and go to his website. We'll put those in the show notes. And until next time, God bless you. Make it an amazing 2025. The possibilities are endless. And you have seen here someone who has come from nothing and just had incredible success and is just an incredible human being. So anyone can do that. And I hope he inspired you today. So thank you so much for being here. And until next time, bye bye. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're as excited as I am about scaling up your influence, business, and bank account, then I have just the thing for you. But first, make sure you subscribe to the show. Second, make sure you share it with someone you care about, because sharing is caring. And third, head on over to join me in my next free virtual exclusive workshop, where we'll explore proven strategies to boost your business and maximize your potential. Look, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're looking to take your business to the next level. My workshops are designed for you. So head on over to expertinyouworkshop.com to reserve your spot and get ready to transform your expertise into extraordinary success. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and helping you achieve incredible growth. Until next time, make sure you're always seeking the expert in you, and God bless. Have an amazing day.